Hello everybody, MorbTron here. Today we're going to be taking a look at this season's artifact, kind of in depth, comparing it to last season's artifact for cheese in the Crucible. Now if you remember last season, we had this thing called Thunder Coil, and we had Arc Battery. Now instead of Thunder Coil, we have Solar Plexus, which increases the damage of all solar melee abilities, and you gain super energy from performing finishers with a solar subclass equipped. That's Neato Burrito. And we have Void Battery instead of Arc Battery. Now, if you remember to last season, there were Arc Titans running around one-punching everything with Thunder Coil, and there were Hunters running around with Wormhusk Crown with Arc Battery that were literally pretty much invincible unless you had special ammo equipped. And I just kind of want to make sure that this season is going to be a little bit different towards the end, where it doesn't get as cheesy in the Crucible as it did last time. Now, they did add little addendums to this one. So Void Battery says increases the cooldown of your class ability. By how much? We're going to see. And I know that Solar Plexus doesn't increase solar melee damage as much as Thunder Coil did with Arc melees. We're going to take a look, see what, if any, solar melee abilities can now one-shot instead of just maybe not one-shotting with Solar Plexus. And we're going to see exactly how beneficial Void Battery actually is now. And we're also going to be taking a look at Guardian Angel, which grants a chance to generate healing orbs. They're not really orbs. They're just little fountains of light, basically, that appear on the target that you kill with either a scout rifle, sniper rifle, bow, linear fusion, precision, final blows. So, I've gotten them to spawn pretty much every time I've gotten a final blow with precision damage. So I'm going to get Ducky weak, and then just go ahead and hit me once. And you see there, it kind of appeared on the ground. And it heals you, not instantly, but it immediately starts your health regeneration, which is incredibly handy. Now, will it be super overpowered? Probably not, because you have to actually go to the target that you killed. So I'll get her weak again. And crit final blow. None appeared that time. So we're going to do it one more time, and then we're going to move on to testing the Solar Plexus stuff. And I'm going to be testing on Titan, Warlock, and Hunter. So we get kind of a comparison for everything. I'm getting Ducky weak. And didn't spawn. So it seems to be, I would say, from my testing that I've done here, granted that was only 3, but I've been testing for a few minutes now. It seems like it's about a 50% chance of it happening. Might as well just get one more test in, just for fun. And we didn't get one there either. So, it's a bit random, a little bit RNG, but from my experience, it's about 50% of the time. But you do have to run to the target. And again, that's snipers, that's bows, anything like that. It might be a little bit different if you use a sniper, which I'll do some testing, and if I find anything different, I will let you know. Okay, so on to testing solar melees. Now, one little thing I will say, with sniper rifles and the Guardian Angel mod, it has the same chance to drop. Did some testing, got 1 out of 4. So, it's just RNG. Get a precision shot, you have a chance to get a healing orb, but you have to run to where your target died to pick it up and heal. So moving on to solar melee testing, I'm starting out with Bottom Tree Sunbreaker. Now I know this isn't going to be a flat-out one-shot, but we're going to go ahead and compare the damage between. So this is with Solar Plexus, and does 100 damage flat out, and then ticks for a considerable amount over time, and basically makes your target one-shot. And now I will say that we'll just inspect Ducky real quick here. She has 6 resilience and full masterwork armor set. So that's the most amount of super armor you can get, and it's a fair amount of resilience as well. Running into people with over 6 resilience in the Crucible doesn't really happen that often. So we're just going to switch to a different class item that does not have Solar Plexus. You can see the difference there. It did 10 more damage with Solar Plexus, and did just a tiny bit more. So going from 90 to 100 on initial melee damage isn't a whole lot. So we're going to go middle tree now, with hammers. Now, hammers, once you get enough of the Roaring Flame perk for Titans, will just flat out one-shot your enemies. And that did, I believe, 121. I'll have to take a look at it again here. And throw. Yeah, 121 without Solar Plexus. So what this is going to do for you is it's going to just reduce the amount of charges you need for Roaring Flame before it one-shots. So it went to 152, and that's a pretty considerable amount. And it's going to make it a lot easier to secure a melee kill with the hammer. But it isn't going to make it just a flat-out one-shot. But it will once you get probably 2 stacks of Roaring Flame and not 3, or maybe even just 1. But that's pretty hard to test with just one person helping me out here in this. But we'll go ahead and we'll give it a shot anyway. So just gonna do a little bit of damage, and then I have to find Ducky in 17 seconds. So we'll just wait for it to come here, and it's not a one-shot. So 189 damage. If you run into a Guardian with extremely low resilience, you will one-shot them, however. And now the last one that I want to test out is the Top Tree. Now we know that Top Tree is going to one-shot out of Super, just because it is a shoulder charge ability. What I want to test is, in Super, can I one-shot a... when the enemy is in Super, can you one-shot them out of Super with shoulder charge with Solar Plexus? We can already do it with Peregrine Greaves, but you have to be in the air, and it's a little bit harder to pull off. But I'll have Ducky pop for Super, which is Arc Staff, and we're just going to... Nope. But it does make her considerably weaker because of the burn. Anyway, on to go Warlock next. Alright, so we got Bottom Tree Dawnblade here. We have the Igniting Touch. So strike an enemy, they explode and burn, blah, blah, blah. Oh, if they die, they explode. So this is without Solar Plexus, just to get a control. And then we'll switch to Solar Plexus. So, 100 damage. That's it. Just high five him right in the face real quick. Now we can put on Solar Plexus. And we have 125. And it actually does cause them to burn because we get rid of Ducky's shield. And if you don't get rid of their shield, they don't burn. So it actually does make that melee a lot better. Because you can count on that burn to... makes it take longer for them to actually start regenning their health. Alright, now we'll go to Middle Tree now and take off Solar Plexus. Wait for the melee to recharge, and it does. 100 damage, and it does cause a burn. So that's pretty cool. Now we'll switch on Solar Plexus. 125 and causes a burn, so it's basically the same exact thing, except you do get the empowered buff with Middle Tree. So those melees are basically the same. Now where it's going to get interesting is the Celestial Fire, which is the new melee for Top Tree Dawnblade, where you send out a spiral of explosions at your target. So we'll go no Solar Plexus, and they do 35 times 3, so we have 105 damage. Now we're going to put on Solar Plexus, and same thing, does 44 times 3, so considerable amount more damage there than we'd gotten from other melees, but nothing to one-shot, but it will help at least secure the kill at least a little bit. And now we're going to switch over to the Hunter. Alright, so now we are on the Hunter, and we've got Solar Plexus on. Right now we're going to take it off, and we're going Top Tree first, so the Proximity Explosive Knives. So without any sort of Solar Plexus, they do 19 plus 105 if you get a direct hit. Do I have... Nope, wrong dodge. So waiting for... Oh, no. Waiting for the melee to recharge. Okay, yep, the second knife killed her. I should have waited a little bit longer. Now we're going to switch to Middle Tree. Actually, no, we're going to switch to Solar Plexus. I forgot to switch to that. And then I'm going to equip the correct dodge, so I get my melee back right away. And if we go for a direct hit here with Solar Plexus, we get 23 and 132 for a direct hit. So it makes it a lot more lethal, but not as lethal I guess, as it could be compared to other melees. Now, if we go close, that's a 132. Definitely go for a direct hit unless you're trying to be sneaky with the explosive knife, because they are proximity detonated now. Let's go middle tree. And now middle tree is an interesting one because you have that fan of knives that you throw out, and if you don't hit every single one of them, you're not going to get maximum damage, and it is going to be pretty difficult to actually hit all of them. So let's see here. Let's go. That's all of them. Not all of them were a crit, though. And they brought her down to almost nothing, but I think she was weak from when I meleeed her before. Now let's go ahead and put on Solar Plexus to see if it is a one hit. That is all 3 knives. Not all of them crit, but that was a one hit. So that is interesting. We have the first melee out of all of them that is actually going to be a one hit with Solar Plexus versus not, but you have to hit all 3 knives into your target to actually get the kill, and getting one of the knives to crit doesn't hurt either. Now let's switch to the weighted knife. Now, of course, this is going to one-shot if you hit the head, but what I wanted to test here is if you can one-shot a super with weighted knife, because you usually can't do that. Nope, 125. So definitely not a crit, or not a one-hit kill, but is a lot. Oh, I was expecting to have 3, but I'm, of course, wearing Celestial Nighthawk. Alright, so let's go ahead and test the Void Battery now, and I'm going to make builds around Void Battery later on for the Titan, but the main offender for Arc Battery last season was Hunters using Wormhusk, and so I'm going to go ahead and use Wormhusk. I just have to pull one out of collections. Here we go, Hunter Wormhusk Crown. Let's go ahead and just yoink one of those right out of collections. Put it on real quick. Switch over to Void Battery. And let's go to a Void subclass. And I'm going to go ahead and use Vanishing Step. Doesn't really matter, but I think being able to go invisible and heal yourself with Wormhusk Crown might be effective for taking yourself off radar. And we're going to see exactly how it affects the class ability recharge rate. That's not the right button. There we go. And it seems to be regenning fairly slow. And this is Mayhem with instant super regeneration, so kind of speeds up the test a little bit. Let's do it one more time. And you kind of get a feel for how quickly you get it back with Void Battery. Then we're going to go without. Now, where a build I think could come in handy here on the Titan is with Code of the Commander. But let's take off Void Battery now, and we'll see. I mean, it's definitely about twice as slow. I would say it reduces the, or increases the class ability recharge time by about double. So, you're not going to see as much spam from Hunters with Wormhusk, but any Void ability is going to trigger Void Battery. So if Ducky does some damage to me real quick, and then I hit her with a grenade, it's still going to do the Void Battery thing. It's anytime you activate a Void ability. So if I use, well, maybe not the super, but if I use any ability, there we go. A little bit harder to do on a Hunter, apparently, but there we go. We get the class ability. That does the thing. Yeah, interesting. We're going to see what that does on a Titan build later on with Code of the Commander and other exotics that could probably enhance that a little bit more and see how potent it could be. Last season, it was definitely the Hunter that was overpowered with Arc Battery, but maybe Titans this time around will be the ones that will be annoying with Void Battery. So there we have it. That's the testing. I don't think it's going to be that broken this season compared to last season, but it's definitely definitely a change for the better. I don't think we need super overpowered broken stuff from our artifacts to completely ruin the Crucible experience. And it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to having a completely different stuff maybe next season. Maybe we don't need a battery. You know, maybe we don't need some sort of melee enhancing thing, but probably next season we're going to see some sort of void version of the melee, and we'll probably see a solar version of the battery mod. But that's it, folks. That's a bunch of testing. I know, a lot of data to take in and absorb, and not a whole lot of action, but that's the way it is sometimes. You got to test stuff, you got to figure stuff out, and that's what this is. So if you want to show your support for this style of video, hit the like button for me. I would greatly appreciate it. Or if you're new to the channel, you want to show your support as well, hit that subscribe button for me. Don't forget to have a good day, everybody, and I will catch you all next time.